Wouldn't it have been absolutely amazing to have experienced what the disciples experienced? They saw the miracles. They saw people rising from the dead. They saw people worship Jesus. But not only that, the select few, Peter, James, and John, people who were close to Jesus, they got to experience this transfiguration moment, this moment where Moses and Elijah got to meet Jesus, this extraordinary experience where the glory of God, basically heaven, came down to earth. They couldn't deny this experience, this incredible experience of God, where they, I'm sure in their minds, had no doubt that Jesus was God, was the man, was the God that he said he was. They had this incredible encounter. But yet, fast forward to a few weeks from now, where we celebrate Good Friday, they ran away, they abandoned. John didn't. John, good on him, stayed at the foot of the cross. But Peter, denied Jesus, and James, there's no mention of him next to the cross, and probably with the other disciples just scattered, ran away. Now, you see, this is what we need to reflect on our own lives. Just because we have an encounter, just because we experience, just because we know about God, doesn't mean that we're going to stay by the side of God when things get difficult. It's easy to follow Jesus when we're in transfiguration moments. It's easy to follow Jesus when things are going well. But what about those moments when it is really difficult? Those moments where we don't even recognize Jesus and wonder why and why he has abandoned us and where he is. Well, here's the thing, that God will never, I can tell you this, he will never abandon you. He will never forsake you. He will never let your side, leave your side, because he loves you so much, so incredibly much. But the thing is, we need to stay in his presence, keep recognizing him. I remember one time touring across Australia, and I went to this place in northern Queensland, in this remote town. And it was a Sunday, and I didn't have time to celebrate a Mass, the opportunity to celebrate a Mass. And I was running late, so I went to the back of the church, and I sort of sat with the congregation. And I walk into the church, and this woman hands me a bulletin. And the beautiful parish it was, they welcomed me and they said, "Hi, how are you? Where are you from?" And I said, "Hi, I'm from Bendigo." And she looked at me as she handed me the bulletin. She said, "Bendigo, that's familiar." She said, "That's where Father Rob Galea is from." And I looked at her a bit strange. I'm thinking, hey, what's going on here? You see, I'm Father Rob Galea. I didn't tell her that, but I just took the bulletin, and she looked at me and she said, do you know him?" And I said, yes, I do. And I walked, and I went to my place into the corner of the church. And I'm just thinking, at this moment, I'm thinking, wow, what a surreal, what a strange experience. This person knew about me so much that she knew about me. She even knew where I was from. But I was standing right there in front of her, and she couldn't recognize me. Maybe she had seen me in a music video. Maybe she had seen me on an online Mass. Maybe she had seen me in other place. But in this context, where I wasn't wearing my clerical shirt, where I wasn't dressed as a priest, she didn't recognize me. Now, what about Jesus? Do we recognize him when we're not in those transfiguration moments? Do we recognize Jesus when we're going through suffering and pain? Do we recognize Jesus when there are wars and rumors of war? Do we recognize Jesus when there are natural disasters? Do we recognize Jesus when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death? Well, I hope so. I'd hope so. And the only way we can do that is if we pray, if we turn to God, not only in our good times, but also in the struggles, because God is there. He's there loving you. He's there walking with you. He's there carrying you through this time of darkness. Maybe you cannot see him because he's actually too close to you, hugging you, embracing you, and telling you that you can do this. My child, you are called for greatness, because I, who am great, I'm with you always.